you may have been here before, historically since the conquest has been owned by a succession of Norman families, basically, until the late 15th century passed to a great Cornwall family, the Aaron and Lan Hearn, who were strongly straight upholders of the Catholic faith. And in the course of time, they came to live here. There was a castle between here and the village, about 500 or 600 yards in that direction, on a mound with a small moat around it. And in penal times, as we know from this very nice sermon Father gave us, there were 8 martyrs that were executed in Dorchester. And they were protected by the animals. The 3 priests were chaplains there. And over the course of about over 50 years, from about, I think about 1587 to 1642, 8 of them were truly martyred for their faith. So the church is dedicated to Our Lady Queen of Martyrs and St Ignatius. 2 of the priests were Jesuits, and the World family has always been associated with the Society of Jesus. The Wells bought the estate in 1802 from their kinsmen, the Arundels, and in those days there was a barn here, and a farmhouse called Dame Harrod's farmhouse, where the man lives now. And the barn had no windows on this side, and Mass was said in a loft there. Humphrey Well, who was the new owner, turned the whole of the barn into a chapel, and we go into the sacristy, you'll see the decorations on the walls, and he put in this altarpiece, this picturesque altarpiece at the end. In the course of time, his son, after Catholic emancipation in 1829, decided to enlarge the church, and he then built this nave going back here and dedicated the church when it was inaugurated in 1874 to Our Lady Queen of Martyrs and St Ignatius. The church itself, the style of it, is fairly eclectic. It's basically a sort of Romanesque style here, going back with possibly a sort of Italianate facade in the front, with a roundel of Our Lady Queen of Sorrows, which you'll see in the facade. And he then built this chancel here, which I can't believe was the work of an amateur. He was a very gifted amateur, and he sort of carved all the capitals himself, and done a lot of the painting decorations himself, possibly, but we don't know for certain. He also had all the English martyrs painted here on the clerestory, including the 8 Chideock Martyrs. I think there are 5 there, two of the other ones on this side here. They were painted, thought to be painted by cousins or children. But again, it's not certain. We don't have any documentary confirmation for that. And that gallery there is what we call the tribune, where the family came directly from the manor house, and they sat up there to worship up there. It was initially going to be used for an organ, but the organ which which was instituted, was much too large for them, so they built a new organ loft at the end, which was more appropriate. There's also a very fine, rather lovely rock gilded Madonna at the end, which surrounded by what the Italian call a mandorla, which is a almond-shaped decoration which you find in 13th century and 14th century Sienese churches. But it's also rather Bernini-like in that it's lit by the light of fire, so it's very theatrical in the 17th century to look at. The actual chancel itself reminds me of Byzantine work. You can't find an example of where exactly like it. It reminds me slightly of when you've been to Ravenna of San Vitale in Vienna, which is an octagon of piers built in the 6th century AD. But again, the actual arches, so-called Gothic arches, to my mind, hint of Moorish influence slightly, as you might find in Cordoba or somewhere like that in Spain. They're quite shield-like and pointed. Now, I would suggest, would you all like to come into the sacristy and see the original chapel, where it was the chapel from 1802. Until about 1645, the castle was the centre of Catholic practice in this village. In the Civil War, it changed hands a number of times and finally was captured by General Fairfax and reduced to a ruin. So after that, there was no place for Catholics to worship, and Chi-duk was a particularly Catholic village because of the presence of the Arundels, whereas Lyme Regis down the road was really quite nonconformist and Protestant. For a long time, I think over 100 years, possibly 150 years, Mass is reputed to have been said secretly here, in a loft here, a loft space. I think the loft space must have been bigger than it is now because it's really quite small. But you can go up and see that space. And then when the Wells acquired the estate in 1802 and built the manor house and developed this into their chapel, they put the altarpiece there, which we like to think might have been designed by Pugin, the young Pugin, because he did do work in Dorset. the altarpiece was here against this wall. And all the decorations, I think, must have been painted about then, about 1810. Seemed to be a good deal older than the decorations in the rest of the church. I don't know who they could have done them. They might have got Italian decorators to come and do it, possibly from about 1802 onwards, with the what was it called, the piece of Amiens we gave them. There was a 2-year period where in the Napoleonic Wars when people could go to the continent and come back again, so it might have been then. There's a very nice painting here to commemorate the beatification in 1929 of 5 of the Chideock Martyrs, painted by an artist called Francis, who's known as Fra Newbury, and he became the successor to Mackintosh at the Glasgow School of Art, the famous Glasgow School of Art. And then I think he must have painted this in about 1930. He retired to Dorset and he lived and died at Corfe. But he was brought up in Bridport. There used to be an art school in Bridport.
What's the well chapel? Right.